Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the week. As I said in our class message, I'm really proud of all of you for all of the hard work that you're putting in during this very trying time. I miss you and I'm really sad that I won't be able to see you for the rest of the school year, but we are moving right along and I think you guys again are doing a great job. Today and for the next few sessions, we're going to be working on writing. And you guys have done such an amazing job developing your writing skills throughout the year that I'm really hoping that this particular assignment will help you to continue to do that. I will be here to help you along the way. We're going to break this down as we do when we're in the classroom, where we take chunks of each part of the essay and just focus on it, and then you'll complete a final product for me within the next couple of class sessions. So if you take a look up on your screen, I have a presentation that I want to show you on persuasive or argument writing. This is the second type of essay that you're going to be required to complete on the New York State Regents exam. It's a little different than the claim essay that we've been working on, where you have to come up with a claim and find 3 different examples to support that claim. Here, in a persuasive or argument essay, on the New York State Regents exam, you're given 5 different texts, and it's your job to read them, come up with your own claim, and also think about what somebody else would say against your claim, against your position, and you have to then refute that or counterclaim it. So I'm going to show you how this is going to work, and what you're going to be doing for today's session is simply completing an outline where we gather information from To Kill a Mockingbird to complete our assignment. So take a look on your screen along with me. So persuasive writing is writing that tries to convince a reader to do something or to believe what you believe about a certain topic. It takes a position for or against something. So sometimes when you read the different texts that you're given, and even here for To Kill a Mockingbird, you might be in the middle. But when we're writing something to persuade other people, to convince somebody else of something, you need to pick a side. You can't be in the middle. So persuasive writing can be used for a lot of different reasons. You could write to support a cause. Please support my football team by buying discount coupons. You can write to urge people to action. Vote for Sarah. You can write to make a change. The principal should let us wear hats. You could also write to prove something wrong. Cell phones don't cause brain cancer. You could also write to stir up sympathy. If you don't adopt this dog, it could have to live in a shelter. You can create interest as well. Better grades get you a better job and more money. And you can get people to agree with you. I'm sure you'll agree that Milky Way is the best candy bar. So really, I think for the purposes of our writing, it's going to be the last bullet point here. To get people to agree with you is the main purpose of a persuasive piece. So when we write an argumentative essay or a persuasive essay, we need to keep in mind that there are different parts that make up this argument. So when I look at your work, I'm going to be looking at a particular rubric, which I'm going to give you a copy of so that you can use it to proofread your work. I need to see that you have the main points of an argument essay. So the first thing is you need to have an issue. What is the problem or the controversy about which people disagree? Okay, and in this case, for To Kill a Mockingbird, we're talking about the Tom Robinson case. Is he guilty of raping Mayella Ewell? So you need to pick a side. You need to figure out what your claim is going to be. That's the position of the issue. So for your essay, you agree that Tom Robinson is guilty, as the jury has found him, or you disagree. You're going to side with Atticus, that he is innocent. Then you need to go and you need to find supporting evidence to help back up your claim. So the support are the reasons and the evidence that the claim is reasonable and should be accepted. So for the New York State Regents exam, you need to have at least 3. And for for our purposes, you're also going to have 3 different text evidence to support your argument. You also need to have the counter-argument. The counter-argument is the opposing viewpoint. So whenever you argue, yes, you hopefully will feel very passionate about what you're arguing about. However, you always need to consider the other side and then have a backup, right? So chocolate ice cream is the best flavored ice cream in the world. Well, I need to know that maybe somebody would counter me and say, no, it's vanilla. So before I let them begin to argue why vanilla is the best ice cream flavor, I need to say, people would say that vanilla ice cream is the best flavor. However, this wouldn't be true because, and then I go and I refute that counter argument. And we all know I like chocolate, which is why I used it as an example. So the types of support. You can use reason. This is a general statement that supports a claim. The evidence then is going to be the facts, statistics, experiences, comparisons, any example that you can draw from the text. You can also have emotional appeals, which is kind of where Atticus was going with in his closing argument. Those are targeted ideas towards people's values. So in his closing statement, Atticus appealed to the values of the jurors. Would you want this to be done to you? Right? His golden rule. So if you take a look on your screen, I'm giving you a very basic, generic organizer that you're going to be using a lot next year in 10th grade. Your 10th grade teachers use this particular organizer to help you begin to put your essay together. So if you take a look up at the top, it says to briefly explain both sides of the issue. So for our purpose, the 2 sides of the issue is that Tom Robinson is guilty, and then the other is that Tom Robinson is innocent of rape. Okay. Then your claim is going to be which side you're going to choose, whether he's guilty or innocent. This top part here is meant to help you remember what the 2 sides are because you're going to need them for the body part of your essay. So based on your claim, Tom Robinson is not guilty. I need to find 3 different reasons to support this claim. So my source evidence here is going to be text evidence to support that reason. Okay? You have 2 different parts here. Just in case you have an extension of a particular sentence or paragraph, or what I always tell my students is to paraphrase the information. You have the direct quote, and then you kind of explain what's going on, right? For example, if I have a quote here, I felt sorry for her, and somebody has never read To Kill a Mockingbird, I don't know who the I is. So maybe down here, I could write Tom Robinson felt guilty for Mayella. So I'm explaining the I that I would write here. I felt sorry for her. And I also explain who the her is referring to. Okay, we talked about pronouns and antecedents in the beginning of the year. Then the second or the third part of the reasoning is to explain how the evidence proves your claim. This is one of the most important things that we need to complete in order to have a solid argument. How does it prove your claim? So if your claim up here would be that Tom Robinson is guilty, and you have the reason why here, you need to then explain how it proves that he is guilty. Okay, so then if you take a look here at the bottom, your counterclaim, that's the counter argument. So if up here you wrote that Tom Robinson is innocent, the counterclaim would be the opposite. Tom Robinson is guilty. Why would somebody say that Tom Robinson is guilty? And the rebuttal goes back to your claim. Tom Robinson is not guilty because, and then you would have to find an additional reason why. Okay? So your claim is your position, your 3 reasons to support that. You need to explain how it proves that the example, the text evidence that you have supports your claim. The counterclaim is the opposite of your claim. You need to find an example that would help prove that counterclaim. but then you're going to refute it. So the rebuttal is the same as your claim. Then your concluding paragraph is a restatement of your claim, which, if you remember back to sim writing, you have your clincher sentences. You can write a specific clincher sentence which summarizes the 3 reasons why your claim is correct. We're going to be working on this together. I just want, again, to just give you a quick overview of this. So persuasive writing follows a particular format, and this is what I was saying before I showed you the example. Your first paragraph is going to be your introduction, which has a hook and a claim statement, right? You're not going to start and say Tom Robinson is guilty, end. You need to provide more information, something to hook your readers. And I'll talk to you a little bit about what you can do to hook your reader into your essay. Your body is where the argument is explained, and then the conclusion is where you summarize the main points that you have discussed in your essay. So, as I said first, you need to pick a side. You need to have a clear position. You can't go in the middle. Then you need to go and find your evidence. So you need to go back to certain chapters of To Kill a Mockingbird, particularly 17 through 20. You can look at the lesson videos to help you, or the summary sheets that I gave you as well, so that you can find some evidence to support your claim. But I want you to keep in mind that it really can't be based solely on your opinion. You need to provide evidence to support your stance. The counter-argument, again, one of the most important parts of your essay. You need to recognize and refute the opposing viewpoints. So you question the accuracy of the opponent's evidence. So in the case of Tom Robinson, Atticus questioned how Tom Robinson could have hit Mayella Ewell if one of his hands or his arm wasn't working. So that's the questioning of the accuracy of the opponent's evidence. Does the author address opposing viewpoints clearly and fairly? Does the author refute the opposing viewpoint with logic and relevant evidence? These are just questions to help you think about what the counter-argument could be. So, to set up your essay, we're going to have one paragraph for our introduction. The body paragraph, I'm going to leave up to you. You can either have one paragraph with all 3 details, or you can have one paragraph for each detail. You will need a separate paragraph for the counter-argument and your rebuttal, and then you need a conclusion. Okay? So minimum of 4 paragraphs, it could go up to 6 if you so choose. So the do's and don'ts of persuasive writing. So again, you're going to divide into 5, really 4 is the minimum paragraphs. That thesis statement, or the claim I should have written, is your introduction. You're going to come up with 3 main parts or points. You're going to show the counter-argument, and you're going to have that clincher, right, your concluding paragraph. You do not need to come up with a catchy title. In this case here, it's just going to be Tom Robinson, but sometimes in class I have you come up with a title. The don'ts: do not use your personal pronouns. Don't begin with hello, my name is, I'm going to be writing about. Some of you like to do that, but we need to keep in mind that this is formal writing. Don't use, again, the word I. No personal pronouns. Okay? I think, I believe should not be used. You need to keep your statements very general. Again, don't be wishy-washy. You need to pick a side. You cannot be in the middle. And don't forget to support those opinions, as I said, with facts and examples. So, I told you that I was going to briefly talk to you about how you can create a good introduction, how to grab the reader's attention, and there are different ways that you could do that. An anecdote or a scenario, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. You can start off with a quote. Atticus's golden rule is a great way to start off this essay. An interesting fact or statistic, a question. So, an anecdote or a scenario is when the writer provides a personal experience or made up situation to introduce the position. So, here, you don't have to make anything up, or really don't even have to use a personal experience. We have, based on our background information, knowledge about some trials, some cases that occurred in our nation during the time that the story was taking place during the 1930s. So you can look up something like that. Again, you can start off with a question that's thought-provoking. You can start off with an interesting fact or a statistic. Your strong statement could be something in relation to, again, a statistic. Fast food consumption has risen 500% since the 1970s. That would be an interesting fact, a strong statement to start off with. Again, you can start off with a quote. Advertising, including television ads, billboards, and other advertising, including toys in boxed meals, has made an effect upon children as never before. Children these days are growing up with low concern for their health and more concern for what tastes good. Again, you can open up with a fact or a statistic. 30% of children in the survey ate fast food in any given day during the survey, and they ate an average of 187 calories a day more than those who did not eat fast food. And again, you can open up with a question. How many times have you eaten fast food this month? And obviously, based on our current situation, I'm sure that that would be more often than before. An outrageous statement you can start off as well. Fast food is killing America. Not everyone would agree, so off the bat, you are presenting an argument. Creating your thesis statement. Again, the thesis is the same as the claim. That's going to be one sentence at the end of your introduction that states your opinion or your position, and it needs to be strong. So for us, Tom Robinson is guilty. Tom Robinson is innocent. Okay. Again, your 3 points or your 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim. And based on that, I'm just giving you some examples. And then you're going to begin to write your thesis. Again, it's going to come at the end of your paragraph. Now, we've done this a lot in class, so this should only be a quick review. So 1 to 3 supporting paragraphs for each of your main arguments is used in your introductory paragraph, and then you talk more about it in your paragraphs. And again, you need to show information from the other side. How many of you have been in a discussion with someone and you remember saying, yeah, that's true, but this is called a counter-argument. It's the other side. So I'm going to help you come up with your counter-argument topic sentence. So again, the counter-argument is where you should explain why your opposition believes what they believe. So in this case here, maybe people would disagree that fast food isn't all that bad for you. And then you need to make sure that you refute that. And then the conclusion of your essay comes up at the very end with a clincher sentence to conclude, thus, in conclusion, and then you summarize your main parts. Okay. So I'm just giving you an overview. Don't worry about grasping all of this right now. We're going to be working on this little by little. So let me show you what your graphic organizer is going to look like, because that's the first part of the essay assignment that you're going to be completing for us. Let's take a look at it. So what I pulled up here on the screen is the work that you're going to be completing. I want to read through this with you. It might look a little different when I put it on Schoology so that you will be able to write on the document. So, building a case. It says Scout sprinkles reference to her father's profession throughout To Kill a Mockingbird, beginning in chapter 16. Readers finally see Atticus practicing law. A formal argument is very different from a quarrel like the ones that Scout has with her brother. Instead, it is an unemotional, organized presentation. An argument is usually stated first in writing and then delivered either in writing or speech. Good arguments follow certain rules. The three that follow are among the most important. Brevity. Nothing unnecessary is included. Clarity. Each statement is clear and ambiguous. And thoroughness. All points or statements are carefully investigated and each one is well supported by concrete evidence. Okay. So we're going to be working on making sure we have all of this in our essay. So the directions are to review the way that Atticus and Gilmore handle Tom's case. To summarize the facts that emerge, fill in the outline below. Your goal is to provide evidence from the trial to support each statement. So we're going to start off talking about both sides of the argument. We're not picking sides yet, even though I'm sure a lot of you already have the side that you're going to choose. But remember that regardless of that, you always need to think about the counter arguments, the opposing view. So what you're going to be doing and submitting for me is completing this outline. Atticus's argument is composed of what Mayella was probably injured from. So it says Mayella was probably injured by a left-handed man. Therefore, Tom was not involved. What are your three pieces of evidence that Atticus uses to support the fact that Tom was not involved because he cannot use his left hand? Atticus also argues that there is no medical evidence to prove that a rape occurred. What are the two things that he says to support that? And then they also go into this idea that the Ewells are not credible witnesses. What are 3 or 4 facts that I need to write down to support the fact that the Ewells are not credible? In other words, their word really doesn't hold a lot of value. People really don't believe them. Then, Tom Robinson's previous arrest was unimportant. What would Atticus say about this? So again, you're going to go back into the text as well as the video that I showed you. And then the fact that Tom is a gentle, compassionate, hard-working man. You need 3 facts to support this. Then the other side of the argument is that Tom Robinson did commit the crime. And Gilmore's first argument is that Mayella looked as though she was physically abused. What are your supporting details for that? Mayella was raped by Tom. What supporting evidence is there for that? Tom acts as a shifty, dangerous, and criminal way. 2 things to support that. And then Tom is insolent and doesn't know his place. What are 2 facts to support that idea? Okay. And then you have reached the end of your organizer. You'll submit this, I will take a look at it, and I need to give this back to you. After you've completed this and I've given it back to you, then we will begin to work on the essay. So here, all you're doing is putting as much information into this organizer as possible. Then you will pick a side and support your stance. If you do have any questions, I'm here for you. Please message me on Schoology or shoot me an email. Again, we're going to be working on this for a few sessions, so we'll take it slow.